Welcome to Candlewick Library. I'm Cheryl. Today I'm going to share a convention haul. June has been quite the month for traveling in our family. The first 11 days, my oldest daughter, was at Summit Ministries in Manitou Springs, Colorado, run by Dr. Jeff Myers. And this is lots of Christian teens and young adults that come together for 11 days of teaching and biblical truths and Christian worldview things. I was hoping, since I've talked on here before about how my daughter has had a hard time being able to find community her age, I was hoping that she would be able to find that there. Unfortunately, there's so many kids there, and the way they have it going from morning until 11 o'clock at night, and they have small groups where she's able to make some connections. They have outside activities that you can pay and go do. However, those filled up within minutes, so a lot of kids didn't get to go. And they had to sit in the same spot every day. So when she didn't make friends with the boys on either side of her, she couldn't sit in a different place and try to make other connections. I think that it's mostly for really, really outgoing people and for kids that are able to get on those extra activities. Kind of luck of the draw a little bit of where you sit and what roommates you have and all that. She did end up getting along with her roommates and her small group, but it wasn't quite the experience we were hoping for. She did learn a lot. She had some really great teachers, but there were some really hard things. It was a tremendous time of growth for her as she was out of her comfort zone in almost every way. And we were so proud of her for wanting to stick it out and never asking us to come get her, although I wanted to 2 days in. It was really hard for me to have her away from home for the first time in a different state and know that she was having a hard time and that it wasn't going the way we hoped it would. We drove her up to Colorado, and so we drove up one day, dropped her off, and then came back the next day. And then my younger daughter and I, with my mom, left a week and a half later to go up to the Rocky Mountain Homeschool Convention in Denver. We were there for the last couple of days that she was at Summit, and then went to the graduation and to pick her up. And then we stayed at the convention for the next few days and then drove all the way back. So in that 2-week period of time, we drove the road between here and Denver 4 times. It's a really beautiful road. It had lots of tunnels and lots of great scenery, and we had fun, but I was definitely ready to be done with that road after the 4th time. The convention was great. Heidi St. John was there, and my mom and I were very excited to be able to meet her and go to her classes. We went to a lot of really good classes there, especially hers, and had a great time. So I was able to get quite a few things at the homeschool convention, and so I'm going to share those. I knew I was going to get some Master Books curriculum there, but then they didn't actually have the curriculum for you to buy and take home. They just had things for you to look at, and then you could make your order and get the discount. So that's what I did. And then a few days later when we were home, it got here. My youngest is going to be doing zoology for her science next year. I did get a different zoology that's going to be her level, a high school level. But I wanted to get some of the resources that they have with their elementary zoology because I think they're really cool. This is God's Amazing Creatures. This is devotions that have to do with different animals. And so even though this is written for younger kids, I thought that would be a really cool thing to be able to do. And I got this book, How Many Animals Were on the Ark? And that just goes through understanding the animal kinds. But like I said, those are meant to go with the elementary zoology, but I think that they will be really great supplements to her high school level zoology. I also got this book from them, Instincts. This is Instinctive Behaviors of Humans and Animals in Creation. I thought that would go along really well with it too. And then they have these extraordinary character books, and mainly I wanted this one, Extraordinary Animal Heroes. And this tells the story of a bunch of different animals: Sergeant Stubby the dog, Murphy the donkey, Balto the dog, etc. So I thought that would be something she would enjoy reading, and it can go along really well with that unit. But I looked at them at the convention and I thought all of them looked really great. So I got the rest of the series too: Inventors and Scientists, American War Heroes, and American Famous Spies. And then we've really enjoyed their A Child's Geography. And I already had the Explore Viking Realms, but when I got it, I had bought that online a while back, and I was really sad that it didn't match the rest of them that we've been using. And so when I saw that they had redone it, I had to get it because I really love the layout of this. And again, these are made for younger kids, but what we've done with it is we just use the information and then some of the activities, and we just don't do the activities that are more geared toward younger kids. As far as other things, the other thing that I ordered there that they ran out, and so I had to order, and it got here today, is The Wide, Wide World. This was from Lamplighter. The Lamplighter books had a booth there, and all of their books just are so beautiful and look like they are from the original time that they were published. They have the publication date on the spine. So this was from 1850. And this is the book that Joe March is reading in Little Women. I wanted to try one of their books for a long time, but I couldn't decide. They are a little pricey. and I couldn't decide on which one I wanted. And so I thought this one, whether I read it or not, it's a cool thing to have because of that connection with Little Women. The Generations homeschool curriculum was there as well, and I didn't get any of their curriculum, but we did go to a class where one of the men was talking about different stories of freedom and God's hand in it. And the stories were from this book, The Story of Freedom by Kevin Swanson. He was the one that did the class. Some of the stories were so interesting and they were things I hadn't heard before, so I decided I really wanted to get this book. And then after meeting Heidi St. John and going to her classes, I have quite a few of her things already, but I knew I wanted to get some more. And this one is romance, and this is about marriage, and I thought this one looked cute, and it's very short, it'd be easy to read. And then my mom and I both got Becoming Mom Strong and the devotional that goes with it, and we're going to do this together when we finish with the book that we're doing together right now. Oh, another cool thing, this is not a book, but we were able to have the world premiere of The Forge. If you've seen War Room, this is kind of, it's not really a sequel to it, but it has some of the same characters in it and tells a story of people that are mentioned in War Room. And we were able to watch that, and it was really good. It was very touching. We cried. So that was fun. That was a fun thing that they let us do on the Saturday night. YWAM Publishing was there, and I always have to get some of theirs since I've talked about these a lot. We love these. So I asked the man that was working it what some of his favorite were, and he said Lillian Trasher and Count Zinzendorf, and I had never heard of either of these two people, which is funny because in one of them in a book I'm reading right now, they just mentioned this Count yesterday in our reading, and so that was kind of an interesting thing. So 2 more of these books added to my TBR cart. And right before we went, I finally read Raising Dragons by Brian Davis that I had bought last year at this convention, and it was kind of an interesting experience reading that book, and I will talk about that more in my June wrap up. But I decided I wanted to get at least book 2, so I picked up The Candlestone from him there, and this is book 2 in that series. But I also decided to get the first book in this series, a newest series from him, Astral Alliance. It's like sci-fi space. He was selling this one for only $5, so I decided to go ahead and try that too. A couple of the classes we went to that I really loved were by Erin Lynham, and she talked about using nature and creation in all of your subjects. And they had, what are they called? Axolotls? They had a couple of those at their booth. That was really fun to see. And we got to talk to her for a few minutes. Everything that she does is just so beautiful. And so I decided to get Rooted in Wonder by her, Nurturing Your Family's Faith Through God's Creation. So I'm excited just to kind of see what this is all about because I really enjoyed her classes. And then the last book is Should Christians Support Israel? And this is by Jeff Myers. This actually was from Abby's Summit Ministries. She brought this home with her, and so she just gave this to me to put on our shelf, but I will probably read this too. That convention is just so much fun, and it's so much fun to go with my mom and share that experience with her, and it was really fun to have the girls there with us this year too. I don't know if we're going to go there next year or if we'll try to choose another one, but we don't have any huge conventions like that here in Utah, so it's really fun to get around that many Christian homeschoolers and be able to see these big speakers that I wouldn't otherwise get to see. We may or may not travel to a different one next year or none at all. I'm not sure yet. It was really fun, and I'm really glad we went.